I want to promote families on this thing.
You want to promote families on this thing? I should have brought him.
Yeah.
Should have brought the youngin, but he's not allowed on social just yet.
Oh, I feel you, bro.
But yeah. Hey, hi, hello. I go by the name Moismai. I would have said it much louder, but I would have probably peaked the mic. That's at Moismai. I'm an entrepreneur that runs a creative agency here out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And he said to introduce the fam, which I don't talk about family a lot because I like to keep that close to the chest. But shout out to the wifey and the baby, who's not really a baby anymore. He's kind of big and chunky. Olivia and Aldine, love you guys. Yeah, man, that's me.
Nice.
That's me in a nutshell right there. Hey, before we even start the show, I just want to highlight that this is the first ever hoodie to be made for Third World. And yes, I am stunting on camera.
Bro.
This is the first one. This is like the beta test model, like before any kind of launches. And you handed this to me during one of the shows. You were like, here, because you don't have a black one yet. And I was like, bet. And then after the show, you were like, that's mine. The first one that I ever made. And I love it because, like, I appreciate raw things.
Yeah.
Things that, like, mistakes and all. Like, I want all of it because then I could, like, whenever this thing is, like, huge, I'll be like, mm-hmm.
Bro, that is, that's crazy. That's crazy. I remember it because we were going to the Toby concert, an artist that you put me on. Put me on Toby, bro. Yeah. And as soon as you put me on him, it was like, he spoke purpose. He spoke my language, man.
He did.
And me and Shanice watched every one of his videos. Well, we couldn't learn him because he's just an amazing rapper. But we did the best we could. Then we purchased tickets. And then I made a hoodie. I made that hoodie. And then I called JD and my boy Runye. And they were like, yo, where you get that hoodie from? I was like, bro, I made this. They were like, bro, that one clean. Then they said, yo, we salty. You didn't make us one. Can you make us one? So like the night before we left for Houston, I went to JCPenney. I went to JCPenney. Hey,
this is raw. Okay, we're not playing out here. This is how you really get it. Yeah. Okay, JCPenney.
Went to JCPenney right before they closed. Bought black hoodies and made everybody else some the next day. And bro, walked up to the Toby concert and this dude was like, "Yo, who's over the Third World Movement?"
Me.
And they were like, "He is." And I was just like, "Yeah." And we started talking. Yeah, but somebody wore a jacket that I made for them. It's not even like an official jacket or anything, but I just made it for him, and they wore it to his concert. He was like, "Yo, I like that jacket."
That's big props because he has his own, and he's like a fashion designer too.
Yeah, he does.
Because he makes all his merch or all the clothing for the videos.
Yep.
There's gonna be one day where he's wearing Third World merch on stage.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be full circle.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Boy, I'm gonna cry.
Ugly Kim Kardashian cry. Let me just get one selfie. I made that. Oh my God, just in the crowd like this is me.
Yeah, so that hoodie holds weight, bro.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. I feel heavier in it.
That hat, that's like one of the originals.
I was gonna wear the flat bill and really stunt on him on camera because that's the only one made too. They're gonna be like, this guy is a douche. This guy just out here telling us about the merch we can't have.
Dang. Yeah.
But hey, sorry.
That's what it is. But you've been rocking with me since the beginning, and that's something that like, bro, you have no idea the impact. Just thinking back, like you were the reason. You single-handedly influenced me to start.
You're incredible.
To start digging it up.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
You're incredible. I remember that conversation. It was upstairs in the corner office of where we work. And you were telling me about all this BS that you're having to go through with getting booked. And then that was it. That was the conversation.
And then you looked at me, you said, yo, why you waiting to be booked? And I was like, boy, you don't talk to me like that. Boy, you don't talk to me like that. What are you talking about? I ain't waiting to be booked. That pride set in, but then once I sat down and thought about it, it was like, I am waiting to be booked. And it was like, you said, yo, you have every resource that you need to book yourself.
Yeah.
And then it was like, boom, Third World Production, boom, Third World Podcast, boom, cabin session, boom, like all this other stuff just start hitting. Like once I drop that pride and start thinking about it. So yeah, kudos.
Bro, hold on. Let's do that again because that was weird where the mic was in my hand. That was kind of strange. You bring up a good point, and I think it's important to recognize that sometimes, I can't remember who said this, but like it's hard to see the label from inside the bottle. You know what I mean? And you need like good people around you to keep you objective sometimes.
Yep.
You know, and it's having that safe space with your support system, you know, for them to have healthy conversations like that where ego is not part of it, you know, and we can talk about like, is that an excuse or do you even need that? And I think like that was a beautiful moment for us because now we exchange those conversations on a regular. Yeah. Like our relationship wasn't as strong then, you know, but now it's like even now, like now we'll have conversations like you'll be like, no, and I'll be like, yeah. And then, so I think especially creatives, they need a healthy support system around them that can elevate them and have them think differently and like challenge them, but in a way that just always pushes them up, you know?
Because you got to have people around you that you trust.
100%.
Like if I feel like you just hating on me and you just don't want me to do something because it's not your idea, I ain't going to tell you nothing. I'm not going to come to you with ideas. I'm not going to come to you and look for inspiration, you know? But if I feel like you have my best interest, which I feel like you do, you hear everything. Like you hear it before anybody else hears it. Yeah. You know? So that's
ditto.
Really dope.
You hear everything, anything music related. You're getting the DM before the wifey even. I need to stop sending you stuff because you just be posting it. That's what you do.
No, they enjoy it. It's amazing. Dude. You are so cold at what you do. Like the like MOCs cold, but then the other side of you that nobody really knows about. Except for
but
like
you
Snapchat.
Snapchat and Chancellor's inbox.
Bro, it's amazing. Like I would get these videos. He would send me a random video. Yo, Rodney McCarn, I just got hit with this rap and I just want to submit it for you guys. Love the way you rap. Oh yeah. And I'm just like, ooh.
Why do I sound like that?
But then like you start rapping and you killing it. And then you hit him with this, yo, let me have about.
I don't know what it is, but the past few days I've just been feeling in a really rappy mood, you know? Okay, love the way your body just be rocking. Oh yeah, you the gift I want up in my stocking. Oh yeah, for you I put the work in, let me clock it. Oh yeah, and yes, you drive me nuts, you got me cracking. Oh yeah, okay, tell me what you need to make you comfortable. You know I'm a family man, I keep it huggable. You ain't your basic average girl, but you can possible. So what is possible? Cause you unstoppable. Okay, I'ma keep it fancy like creme brulee. I feel like me and you in sync and it's gonna be made. So let me come and shoot my shot, then we'll play 2K and maybe turn off all the lights, baby. Y2K. So why today? I'm fly like a loose toupee. Is that a bird or a plane? No, it's Moismai. And if your man think it's swag, press rewind and play and then replay and then replay. Okay, switch it up on him. I walk into the spot, I'm shining dust the rust off him. You know that I be lying if I said I ain't a lion around these little scared possums. Yes, these little scared possums. Oh, your girls say it's awesome. This is freaking awesome. Can we replay this?
And I'm just like, bro, this dude is gold. And then like I know you gold because I'll be like, Mom, check this out.
Yo, when your mom showed love, I knew it was over with. That's when Mom came up and gave me a hug. I was like, yep, we made it.
Yeah.
Mama, we made it for real. Yeah. Like as your mother is giving me a hug. That was dope.
And it's crazy because like that you started doing that but wasn't looking to like be on a song or anything.
Nope.
You know?
Not at all.
And then it just happened. Like Bailey wrote a song and gave the song to me and then I finished it up and I was like, yo, this song needs a rap. And like that's gonna be on the people who came to the last production, they got to see that. Yeah. Which was so dope.
Definitely.
But yeah, you killed that, dude. And like I just wish you would post more rap videos. Just rapping. It comes so easy for you.
You know, again, I'm gonna bring this back to the support system.
Yeah.
Like music was at a certain point in my life something that I wanted to pursue seriously, but then I realized, because I know you always talk about gifts, like I felt like my efforts needed to be elsewhere. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much, because it isn't hyper focused as like a job.
Yeah.
It's more like a passion that I push out. But going back to the support system, it's like your reaction to it. And if it was garbage, like if it was bad, I'd expect you to be like, you're okay.
Yeah.
You know?
I wouldn't say that. I would just be like, yo,
turn it off. No, but your support and your objective support, because you'll ask critical questions when I let you listen to something, like, how'd you come up with this verse, or have you considered doing it like this, or whatever, or like supporting ideas, because I'm not, like, though I'm musically inclined, I don't understand music the way you understand, so we'll sit there and talk about stuff. I think you really freaking need that. And people sometimes stick too much to their ego, and they want to isolate themselves in a bubble and come out with everything on their own. But once you experience true optimistic environment and supportive environment from not necessarily like-minded people, but like-minded in the form of, like, we're all on an individual mission, but as a collective we're very strong because we're trying to support one another. So I just always appreciate that, and it gets me excited when I write something to, like, hit you up specifically, because I know there's going to be that energy exchange that's super powerful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I couldn't imagine how the conversations would go if your stuff was trash.
They wouldn't go. They wouldn't go anywhere.
You kept sending it to me. I don't know what that. I don't know how that would go. But dude, you said something earlier that was pretty powerful, and I think people can benefit from it. What brought you to the mindset of, okay, I'm really good at this, but what made you kind of, how can I because this is a really good question, because a lot of people are stuck with this because they're so gifted at so many different things and they want to do everything.
Take your time.
But you said that you were really good, you were good at music. You tried music, but then there came a point where you said, yo, I'm really good at this, but I think this is a passion. So what made you get to that point of knowing, like, this is what I want to do, this is what's going to bring the money, this is what I need to push, but this is going to be my passion?
That's a very deep question, and I would have to think on it, but I'm going to think through it while talking out loud. The first thing is a level of growth. Okay. So realizing that the more I matured into who I actually am now, the more I started realizing what really resonates with who I am and where I want to allocate my effort. That's the first thing. The second thing is just being honest. I think it was a lack of confidence on my part. And I'll dig into that in a second. I'll dig into that in a second. I'll circle back to that. And that's just being vulnerable and honest with your people right now. I saw a lot of people that were really doing it. Yeah. And I saw what it took to really do it. Like, it's not easy. Nothing is easy, but especially in an industry where everyone wants to do this thing, it's definitely not easy. Because you start analyzing the people like Toby, like Andy, like all these other independent artists, and you start realizing the amount of work it's going to take. Yeah. Dear Silas, shout out to Dear Silas out of Jackson, Mississippi. And you realize that to really put in that work, you got to really want it beyond it just being a hobby. Yeah. So I think that's how it ties into I say lack of confidence, but at the same time, it's just recognition. Like, I don't think I want it that bad just yet. And it's actually a disrespect to the craft to half-ass it. Yeah. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, I think a lot of people are stuck trying to be something that they are not. Huh. And I want to talk about this because I think the popular thing to say is like, yo, follow your dreams, do this, do that, do that. I think with a high level of maturity and understanding who you are and what you want, what you think you should be doing isn't where you can make the most impact. I'm going to say that one more time.
Say that again.
What you think you should be doing isn't necessarily where you're going to make the most impact. Okay. Though I'm good at rapping, that's not where I make the most impact. Yeah. And some people want to be the rapper that's on stage in front of millions. Some people want to be the CEO of a company. Some people want to be the star athlete, when in reality they could be the best behind the scenes manager of the rapper. They could be the best like second man in the C-suite and not necessarily the head of the company. Or they could be doing something completely different. And I think that came with me. Like, I started realizing that where I can make the most impact, and this may change, but I feel like right now, and I firmly believe like where I can make the most impact is helping other businesses and creatives be able to, one, recognize what it is that they're good at and be able to communicate it with the world.
Yeah. So what exactly is it that you do every day?
Yes. So I hate labeling myself because some people are like, no, don't put it. If you put it in your Instagram bio, it ain't real. But I'm an entrepreneur, and I run a creative agency. Okay. It's named MOCs. Yep. And what we do is we know all about it. We help brands and businesses build relationships with the customers that they want.
Gotcha. By
understanding what their brand is all about, and then understanding the message that they want to communicate to the world, and then finding the best way to communicate it to the world, whether that be video, whether that be design, whether that be depending on the outlet of creative that's best suited for them. That's what we do. So in short, I run a creative agency.
Gotcha. And you are really good at it because Third World was a lot bigger once Shanice and I got with you and put everything down on paper or on MacBook.
On MacBook.
Yeah. It was so much bigger. And it was like, because I remember the meeting where it was like 3 hours. And we put everything, every stream of income that the world offered on MacBook. And it was just like, what do we have here?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And like, you do a really good job at listening, which is a trait that a lot of more people need to adopt. You do a really good job at listening and giving valuable information back to the person that was asking the question. You do a really good job at that, and a really good job at MOCs and managing MOCs and getting the best out of people, because it's so much as creatives. Like, we have this, and I see it all the time. I was just giving Jeff my song, like my new songs for the production. And
they're gonna be smash. Okay.
And I was giving Jeff my song, and as a creative, like, we know how it sounds,
right?
But taking it from the mind, to the mouth, to the paper or the recording or the computer, whatever it is that you might put it into, that's a different story.
Can we talk about this?
Let's
Can we expand on this? Yeah. You're talking about the difference between being a creator, a technician, and being a teacher, or being a let's just, for the sake of labels again, manager or leader, right? A technician, they're able to just create it. Some people in the industry will call it pixel pusher, but it takes a special kind of individual to be able to take the idea, like you said, process it, but then after you process it, translate it in a way that the other person understands from their worldview, from their education, from their understanding. Like, if you were to come to me and be like, Mo, let me break the song down to you, and you did it in a way that I couldn't understand, I'd just be sitting there like, and that's a trait that, like, a lot of people, especially, and I think creatives just need to do it. They need to learn to get better at it, is being able to translate, whether it be your gift, how you do what you do, in a way that you can teach other people. Like, can you say it to a 5-year-old, or like a 5-year-old and they understand, or a 5th grader and they understand?
Yeah, that's really powerful, because I find myself a lot of the times having to slow down. Like, just slow down, because I'm giving Jeff the song, and it's cool because it's like, this is the same correlation, and I'm giving Jeff the song, and he just like, he got this look like, I feel you, but I don't.
Right.
And it's like, I find myself, I get that, I see that look, and I'm like, okay, slow down.
Yep.
This is the first verse.
Yep.
Goes like this. These are the words. Then we'll backtrack.
Yep.
And I'll tell them the music. So as creatives, I feel like a lot of people need to do that. Just slow down.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're trying to scale. Yeah. Question mark. Maybe that's a term. I don't know. But like, it is a term. I mean, if it's a term that people know about and who the audience is. Yeah. If you want to scale what you do beyond just yourself, and I know Chance does. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to articulate what you're thinking into processes, and then be able to hand that process over to somebody else. They go through it, and then they create what you do with just creative direction from you at that point. And that's how people build teams, right? That's why good leaders like succeed, is because they're able to bring the people that can do different things in the company, and then give them good direction, and then let them execute, and then give them good feedback. So I think for a company like yours, and especially now that you have a team, like you have the band, you have me, you have Chris doing video, you have brand ambassadors, like you technically you have a team. And it's like, how do we get this genius from here onto paper? And then you distribute the paper, and all of us are like, got it, I know what I need to do, and then the feedback is good. So for anybody that's a creative right now, I know much of the focus is probably like my thing and excelling as an artist, but be thinking about what is the next step beyond you just doing everything. So when you bring somebody in, whether you hire somebody or you ask somebody for help, they feel fulfilled in what they're doing because you have clarity in what you're explaining. So,
and communication,
of course,
is to me, that's how it's been since I've started this process. That's the most important key.
It's king.
Communication. And dude, you are an amazing communicator.
I need to be on this podcast more because you're just making me feel really good.
Bro, for real, man. For real, dude. Like, and I can see if I'm the only one telling you. You know I'm not gassing you up. But, like, dude, I hear it from, like, just a couple weeks ago whenever we had a really deep conversation. And you came in on it and you were like, if I'm hearing this correctly, look, can I come in on this conversation?
Why do
I feel like I can bring value. I feel like I can bring value to this. And I was like, welcome. And you came in, and like everything that I didn't want to say, you said. And it wasn't like, because whenever it comes to like hard conversations, crucial accountabilities, like you automatically build up in your mind how the other person is going to take it.
True,
And
very
dude,
true.
You didn't do that, and I learned so much that I did not tell you. I learned from you, just in that moment. And that was really, really powerful, bro. So I would say communication is like huge. Really huge.
What do you think has been the most challenging part about communication for you as you continue to build this?
Understanding that not everybody gets the vision how I get it. They don't get it how I get it. You know, I have the dreams, I have the visions. It's in my phone, but people that come onto the team, like I feel like, oh, they automatically get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case.
That's powerful.
So communicating that, breaking it down to like a bite-sized piece it's been key for me. That's been something that I had to learn because I've always been like a loner. Like growing up, like people never knew. I'm like an introverted extrovert.
Ambivert.
Ambivert. Thanks.
No, that's wrong. Hold on.
I
I think it's ambivert. Google it. Hit Siri.
What's the definition of ambivert?
Ambivert means a person whose personality has a balance of extrovert and introvert.
Ambivert. Okay, so I was right. Okay, so I had it right. Okay, bet. I wouldn't have known that. If you would have just said introvert, I'd have been like, you're lying. Don't lie to these people on the camera.
No.
You walk in and you know you're here.
Yeah. But like it's so weird because I grew up by myself, not having to because I grew up in a house full of girls, bro.
Right.
House full of girls, not having to communicate much of nothing to them because they had their world, I had mine. But then if you want to scale a successful business,
right,
you have to become a better communicator.
Yep.
You have to become a better like you have to become better at communicating. Like I can't have conversations and just fuss and raise my voice and all this kind of stuff, just like I used to do when I was younger. You know what I mean? So that was really big for me to even to start. You know, because there were times where I wanted to. There were times where I would like people wouldn't do what I wanted them to do. Right. And it's like, man, like why didn't they do that? But then I would backtrack and say, okay, did I communicate it right to them? And 99.9% of the time, I did not. that I have a lot of meetings, which I see you on all the time.
Yeah.
Just meeting after meeting after meeting, telling people, like, nailing it to them, bro. Just telling them what it is, bro.
Yeah.
Just meeting all the time, like, and you never. I'm real funny about asking people for meetings.
Okay.
You know, I'm real funny. So I would like to segue to.
I was about
like,
to say we just hit that U-turn hard,
I'm
or not
real
U-turn, like that
funny
left.
about that, bro.
Okay.
About asking people for meetings because I feel like a lot of times, like, I'm wasting their time. Any advice on that?
Yeah, but I gotta ask, why do you think you're wasting their time?
Sometimes it's because I feel like they
be vulnerable with the people, Chance.
Yeah, I am that. Yeah, sometimes I just feel like I don't know, man. Like they don't get it like I get it.
You're talking specifically with third world.
I'm talking anything.
What do they not get that you get?
Like the vision, like, because if it's yours, you are more excited about it than anybody else.
Yeah. And so you're worried they're not going to be as excited.
Yeah, you getting in my soul right now. I'm finna start crying.
What would shut up? What would happen? Let's play this out.
Okay.
You ask for a meeting. You do the meeting. They don't get excited. What happens to you?
What happens to me? I'm like,
are you upset?
I'm like, I talk to shit. Hey, like, I said this and I said this, and they were just like, okay, like, I wanna, like, I ain't gonna work with them no more. That's me. Like,
you just writing them off. There's a wrap.
I'm writing them off. But I had to, because in the shoes that we are in, bro, inspiration is not inspiring people that think like you, look like you, vote like you, walk like you, talk like you, church like you, work like you. Like, that's just a clone. And that's not really inspiration. And I had to get to the point where it was like I had to keep digging. I didn't have enough patience to dig and dig and dig and see why they aren't inspired.
Are they accepting the meeting when you request it?
Yeah.
So if we were to transition to giving my opinion on that, if they accept the meeting, you're already halfway in the door.
Yeah.
Because if they really didn't care, they wouldn't take the meeting at all.
That's true.
So that's step number one. I think that's a mindset thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you reach out to somebody and you tell them, yo, this is what I do, I love what you're doing, I want to connect, just to connect. We're not even going to delve into, like, sales. And they say, bet, then you've already done something right. And if they take the meeting, then you got to get over yourself, which is like, well, they're not gonna like what I do. They already indicated by taking the meeting that you do. That's step number one. Yeah. The second thing for me that I'm having to get over as well is you got to be real clear on what you're having the meeting for.
That's so good.
You got to be really clear on that intention, because if you don't want to waste somebody's time, be clear on what you're using their time for. Yeah. So I'm give me a little bit more context. Like, what are you getting meetings for? So we can maybe, like, really dissect this.
Just say production is coming up.
Yeah.
You have to rehearse. You have to have camera crew, right?
Yeah.
And everybody has to communicate.
Yeah.
And in order for it to go smooth. But I'll tell you this, post-production.
Okay.
Post-production.
Okay.
Because, like, after the production, like, communicating dates and things to have, because everybody is busy, dude. Everybody's busy, and you understand that. But there are also dates and timelines that things have to be done by.
Right.
So, like, communicating that.
Yeah. So I'm glad we got context, because I was thinking something completely different. I was thinking, like, going out and selling third world. So I appreciate the context. But for that scenario, the first thing that I would do if I was in your situation would be to set a very clear expectations at the beginning. Yeah. Before the meeting is even had.
And that's what I didn't do.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're going to have this meeting for this reason. Here's an idea of some of the dates. Just give people a little bit of direction, because you can't fault them for not doing if they don't know what to do or where to go. Yeah. Or it's like just
don't have a timeline.
Or if they don't have a timeline, right? And then it's just like
up in there. Oh, I do this.
Now we're gonna it's like take some self accountability. Like, well, he didn't give me a date, therefore it must not be that important for him. You know, but I think that's a very specific example, and it just gets better at what we said in the beginning, like becoming really clear on what you want to say, and setting those expectations in the beginning. Like right now, and at this stage of my company, like I'm having to hire contractors, and some of the work that we're doing, it's not work that we've been doing a lot of, because we're introducing new things, because what we really capitalize on is our ability to strategize with the client and our ability to uncover the message and communicate it best. How we communicate it, I'm probably going to get contractors for, because I don't know how to do everything in my business as far as the creative goes. So I may hire a web designer here, a videographer here. But I bring that up because recently hired a contractor. They're working remote. And a big part of the first meeting was, I'm going to tell you it like this. You are the first person in this company to be doing what you're about to do. There is no process in place for you. I'm needing somebody that is seasoned, somebody that knows what they're doing, and somebody that can help me build the process as we go. And at that point, I'm building the ground floor of like, they know not to expect me to direct with a lot of scrutiny, because I don't know what I don't know. Yeah. And also they can give me some benefit of the doubt there. And they're also very clear on what's expected of them. Yeah. So in the sense of the post-production, it's like, hey, if it's the first time, it's like, we don't usually have a routine. Do you think we can get this 2 weeks out from now? And let them inform you. Yeah. I think we can do it by 2. Or if they say no, then you say, okay, well, what is a reasonable deadline if we want to have the video cut by this date? And then you just give and take with them, because you don't have to have all the answers. Yeah.
And communication, a lot of the times I get in my own head.
Yeah.
You get on to me a lot about that, bro. Like, bro, I think Chris made this up. It really ain't that deep.
Oh, yeah. That's Chris's talent, bro. It ain't that deep.
It ain't that deep, bro.
And that's like, coming from like a recovering overthinker. Yeah. I'm a recovering overthinker.
Really?
Period. Yeah. I think way too deep. And that is a sign of like perfectionism. I'm not saying that to like, oh, I'm an overthinker. I'm a great philosophical mind. No, it's like that will stop you from doing things.
Oh, bro.
So like when I see it from another person, I can identify it as like this fly on the wall. And I'm like, yo, kill it right now.
Yeah. It stopped me for like 5 going on 6 years from putting the music that I have out and from doing the things that I wanted to do. Like, what has by being an overthinker, or you used to be an overthinker, what has it hindered you from, or what did it hinder you from? Think
quantity.
About that.
Oh, you asked like quantity.
Yeah.
Quantity, testing, failing. Like failing and figuring it out, because the more you overthink, the more you theorize, the more you try to have it planned out before you do it, the more you never do it, the more you never know whether it's going to work or not. So it's like this constant this feedback loop from hell, right? And you're sitting there, you're like, oh, well, I think if I do it this way, it'll be better. And then like, but you never did it this way to know if you did. So to answer that is like just quantity and testing. And we see the best of the best right now. The best of the best gave us their worst. Gave us their best NBA player, gave us their worst game. Best artist gave us their worst album. Best fashion designer gave us their worst line. And it's like, they're still killing because they're able to be like, oh, that was bad. What did I do bad? Okay, cool. Let me fix it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I said recovering for a reason. Like, and I'm in process from doing it. I'm trying to break the student out of me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel you, man. That's so good. And man, it's so easy to be comfortable where you are.
Yeah.
And not want to do the things that are going to really get you to the next level. Because I was before the promotion at Boxa, I knew what would just take my life and my family's life to the next level. But it was like, I ain't really in a position to where I gotta do it. But then once I was promoted, it was like, yo,
back against the wall. Now I gotta do it now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times, like, we know exactly what it is. We've read the books, we've listened to the podcast, because this is like a podcast generation. Like, we listen to so much.
Tune into this podcast.
Yeah. We listen to so
100%
much,
right.
dude. We read so much, but we don't do. We just don't do because either we think it's not good enough. I had this conversation with a couple friends of mine a while ago. They were getting ready to launch their website. And I was just like, yo, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, because you always, if you do it, man, you're going to always get inspiration to do something different.
Right.
Just go back and edit it. That's why they have edit buttons.
You know what it is?
What?
It's the fear that it works out.
Say that one more time. Fear that it works out. What do you mean by that?
It's the fear that you do it and you knock it out of the park. And now you gotta meet that expectation.
Yeah.
You gotta deliver.
Yeah.
It's like
you
gotta deliver now. It's like if you're as good as you say you are,
yeah,
show that you're that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's all the entrepreneurs that I study, they talk about. It's like you keep talking that you're gonna change the world. It's like, show us how you're gonna show. And a lot of it is grounded in I'm scared to do it and it work out and that I have to continue to fulfill that. You know, that's one. And then of course the other that a lot of people say is like, I'm scared to be judged. I don't know if it's going to work out and you're hesitating. But I think personally it's the fear that it does work out.
Yeah.
And then you're
that's really good.
And then you're like, you know how people say you're only as good as your next at bat?
Yeah. And
then you're like, oh, this worked. Oh, this did work out.
Dang.
Now what?
Yeah.
Now I got to maintain or I got to elevate.
I got to do it better. Yeah. That's funny. And thinking back to, because you've been at all productions.
I have been.
I
was even at the cabin session.
Yeah, you've been at the cabin sessions and all productions, and you were actually the reason that the date changed from December 28th to whenever it did. Because you were like, yo, I'm low-key salty that we ain't going to be able to be there. You know, but seeing how the first two productions in my eyes were failures.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And because it was like once, and only the people that came to the last production know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Because the last production, it was like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is it. This is dope. Just looking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I guess I was getting out of that. I didn't realize I failed until the third production. I didn't realize.
That's powerful, bro.
Yeah.
And that iterates what we were just talking about. You would have never known to get to number 3 without 1 and 2.
Never known, dude. And I feel like it was a setup because the first production was 75 tickets sold. And it was like, yo, man, we could sell this place out. It was like 200 seats, but God been told me like 50 to 75 people.
Yeah.
Cap. That's it. Then second production, like I was like, shoot, I got this, bro. We ain't gotta do nothing. You were like, yo, we need a 90 day, we need a 60 day, we need a 30 day. Let's get it. And I'm like, okay, well, we really ain't gotta do that. And then you
none of that happened.
Yeah. Then you were like, you need to post these tickets. What was it? 3 months in advance, 90 days. And I was just like, they really don't take that, bro. I got God. and God showed me, bro. I waited to about a month, and it was like 30 tickets sold. I was like, that big old room, like 30.
Big old room.
Yeah, but it was fire.
Oh, it was fire.
Then the very last production was where it was like, okay, this was it. But I wouldn't have got there if I would have, because I know me. I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. I'm gonna do something else. Mm-hmm. If I would have sold 30 tickets the first show. But I had enough momentum to take me all the way through 2019. I had enough momentum to take me all the way through there.
This is good. There's so many things that you said. I just want to highlight one of them because the other one, if I highlight it, we'll be here all night. Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah.
But I got a whole baby that I got to get to. But anyways,
my boy Al Disney.
It's interesting how we're so critical and hard on ourselves when it comes to doing something. Yet everything we support, if we look at what they do, we recognize that they're constantly iterating. This phone. How many times do you get the notification, hey, iOS number something is going to be released next month?
Always updating.
Always updating. Imagine if when they were creating that, they were like, yeah, but I want the first one to be like the iPhone 11, so we're not even going to make the iPhone 3.
Dang.
But we accept all of these programs, all of these hardwares, all of these other artists, everything around us is in constant iteration. Yeah, when it comes to us, we gotta get it. We gotta get it right.
We gotta get it right
the first time.
Yeah.
The first time. And there may not even be the technology around for you to get it right the first time. Like they literally physically could not have made iPhone 11 when they made the iPhone. So it's like, can we be kinder to ourselves?
Yeah.
Just a little bit? Just a little bit kinder to ourselves.
Dang, bro, that's good.
You know?
Yo, that's good.
Just
Stop
a little
being
bit
so
kinder.
scary.
Yeah, stop being so mean to yourself. I'm reading this book. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they talk about the backwards loop from hell. And what they talk about is if you're constantly chasing happiness, for example, then you're involuntarily, internally telling yourself that you're not happy. If you're constantly chasing money, or if you keep telling yourself, I need to make more money, you're validating to yourself that you're poor. And you're psyching yourself out constantly. You're telling yourself, I'm not enough as I am. So why I bring that up with this is you are enough right now in this moment. Do what you can and have the desire to be in constant evolution, but not for the sake of not liking yourself now, but for becoming a better version of yourself. Yeah. So it's like a lot of the going back to procrastinating or not doing it or not trying, it's because your vision of yourself is so high that your present becomes so low. Yeah. And then you start like, you're anxious, you're depressed, you don't like yourself. You're like, why aren't I that? It's because you're not accepting who you are right now. Yeah. So
that's really powerful.